I'm gonna clap a few times so I sync it. Good deal. Ray, introduce yourself, brother.
My name's Raymond Durham. I'm from small little city of Danville, Virginia, and I'm currently in Chapel Hill. Uh, a tattoo artist and into fitness too. So
Yeah, so let's take it to fitness first, I guess, since we're a fitness
yeah,
podcast. How did you get into the whole fitness game and what motivated you to get into it? You can take it as far back as you want to.
yeah. I guess if we go far back, like my first experience was high school, of course. Being in the weight room there. Didn't take any of that serious at all. I hated being in there. Um, but I would say I was probably like 19 or 20, and a friend of mine invited me to the gym. And then after going with him a few times, he quit coming, and I continued on, and I ended up losing a bunch of weight around that time, and found tattooing, put a bunch of weight back on, and honestly, when I moved to this area, I was trying to like build my brand, better myself, and I was getting around other guys that were pretty fit, and everybody I listened to, I know we listen to a lot of the same podcasts and inspirational guys, and all of them put fitness as a foundation. So that made me want to start pursuing it too. And so I got a Planet Fitness membership, and I just started going there and trying my best at it. And um, I'd say it wasn't until I came out here after the pandemic and got around you guys, and y'all actually like showed me a pathway to build upon and to really take it seriously. So
Yeah, let's take it back. Let's start with the initial high school phase. Okay, you hated it. Why is it that you think you maybe hated it during that time of your life?
I just wasn't very active, very physical. Like I was more riding ATVs or playing video games with my friends. I didn't care much about sports or doing any of those things. And I played sports a little bit, but I just remember being in the weight room for that just demolished me. Like I had no strength, I had no ability in there. So
Do you think maybe if they would have structured it a bit different for somebody maybe just starting out in it, so it's not so demanding, do you think that could have maybe helped you enjoy it a little bit more?
yeah, I think if it was like I mean, the smaller towns, I feel like they don't think like that. But like, it was like if they had a beginner program or like getting started or something like that. I mean, I know you had PE, but I didn't know the importance of it. I didn't know what it could do for me later on, how important it was for structure, discipline, and business, and or even schoolwork. Like how you do one thing is how you do everything. I didn't know that at that time. So, and then too, it's just my interest too. So I don't know if they did have that, would I even been interested in it or took it seriously either. So
Right. And then your friend basically helped you because he was interested in it and you eventually went with him and stuff, right?
yeah, yeah, and honestly, like we worked together. It wasn't even like a close friend. He just said, "Hey, you should come to the gym with me one day," and I was like, "Cool." And I got in there, and I felt good after. I felt great, and went back a few times, and the feeling of just feeling good kept me wanting to come back into there. And then I I didn't have any plan of like food, meal prep, any of that. I didn't even have a workout plan. I just was showing up doing different things every day, getting on a treadmill, and I was looking back now. I was in a heavy deficit, so that's why I lost all the weight. But then that made me feel good too. I was getting that gratification from everyone saying, "Man, you look great. You're doing great. Keep it up," kind of thing. So, um,
Yeah, I think you kind of glossed over your weight loss journey. You've lost a lot of weight. Like you went through a real you like kind of you're saying it like it's some small thing, but your journey has been amazing.
yeah, well, this is the second time that
Yeah.
I've lost a significant amount of weight, but this time through with y'all's help here, I was able to build the muscle and I feel like maintain the consistency of it. Where then I was more like a crash weight loss. I just dropped a ton of weight and I wasn't really doing anything to lifestyle wise to help maintain that. I wasn't building muscle. It was just a huge amount of weight loss.
Yeah, and you basically learn because you're one of these guys. We'll get into it a little bit later with the 75 hard thing, but uh, at the beginning it was kind of, I wouldn't say luck of the draw, but it was just so much of a deficit. And then this time around, it's like you had an exact plan. You were like, okay, this is how you do it. This is how much you eat.
Well, that was definitely with you guys because I was
Right.
in here. I don't remember when I first came in here, but I like was almost doing the same thing I was doing before. And Corey looked at me one day. He's like, what are you eating, man?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I explained what he said. You're not eating enough. And then it made me think. And then that's when I like approached you and Craig, and I was like, can y'all set me up on a meal plan? Because clearly I'm not doing this right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, good for you, and good for doing this
yeah.
plenty of times. I mean, do you feel? Just tell me about the differences in your mentality because of it. Because I know at first you're not the person you are now that you were before. So
Right.
take me through that little.
So the starting it like at the time of coming here, I had a lot of drive, ambition because I developed that with the craft of tattooing and pursuing that. And so once I got in here and I started working on those things, like my drive and ambition increased. It became better, and I started to feel confident a lot more. Anxiety, like that was a huge. I didn't realize how much anxiety I was walking around with daily, for one, and then coming in here and getting that out the way in the morning, like my day was set up so much better. And we all joke about it. We got that first win of the day, but like it really is important for setting up your day as far as just getting in here in the morning. So
Oh, I love working out in the mornings. I don't
yeah,
know how people don't work out in the morning once you understand how much of a basically a drug it is, because that first win of the day and getting in here and squatting or doing a heavy leg day or whatever, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but getting in here and pushing through, coming overcoming some adversity, getting some sweat, getting some of that anxiousness out of you, because I feel like almost when you weight lift, anxiety builds through the day. We have doubts, we have self confidence issues. We all do, right? But once you get in here and you push through that, it's like, oh, now the weight of the world is off of me a little
yeah, and
bit.
the rest of the day is like whatever.
You're
You know what I
right.
mean? Like I've already done something hard today.
For
What
sure.
is it gonna throw at me? You know?
Yeah. So how did you get into tattooing? Take me through that process. Or
Um, early on, I always say that early on, me and my dad, when I was like probably around like 8 years old, me and him would draw. That was like our little thing at the end of the day. We'd do drawing games and stuff together. And I think at the time, that was probably around like early 2000, tattooing was becoming more and more popular. And I think he saw that and he was like, you should do something with art, maybe around tattooing, because I really enjoyed it. And I could sit down for hours and draw with him and just like forget about everything. So coming up through high school, that was kind of what I would say. I was drawing in class more than I was paying attention in class. People were coming to me, "Ooh, draw me this, do that." There's photos of me, probably on Facebook, of in class with Sharpies on like people's arms, just like drawing stuff. I do it on myself all the time. So it was like always like a focus. And then it wasn't until I lost a friend that I kind of like changed my perspective on life of like I should be doing something more for myself and not just like a 9 to 5 job. And then I started to try to pursue an actual like tattoo career and hit a lot of dead ends at first. And I finally landed an apprenticeship at a small town shop, and I learned more of what not to do
okay.
there than what to do. But it was great in the beginning.
Also, quality information.
Right? Yeah, yeah. And it really did. It was like I feel like a lot of times, like, even in the gym, like I learned what not to do first before I was
It's
able to learn what to do. So it worked out really well, and then I ended up with ex-girlfriend. We ended up moving to New Jersey for her job, and then from there I pursued it, and I was able to get in a shop full time, and I bounced back and forth with like a part-time job and then tattooing, and finally like I made the commitment, and I ended up meeting now one of my good friends. He owns a shop up there, Bayonne Tattoo Company, and from there, just me and him in there together, we just pushed each other and started growing it. And then I ended up down here. So
Yeah, give me the key. Business is such a hard thing. So give me the keys of kind of, or the ups and downs of taking it to your own business. You got your own studio and stuff
mhm.
like that. Uh, I guess just the learning curve of owning your own business.
So we're pretty fortunate that with our business in tattooing that we don't really have like employees or anything. So that's I think that's great, and that's what we wanted to do is more focus on giving our artists just an environment to grow in and making it where it's in comparison to like other places. Like I don't feel we're competing with keeping artists from like other studios. What we're competing with is artists going to open their own studio.
Okay.
So we try to keep the prices of what we charge an artist to be there to be competitive to that, and then it's on them to grow. And I learned that when I took those steps to where like the environment was solely on myself to grow, I started to progress because I started to do things how I wanted to do things and what worked for me. So uh, I'd say the hurdle with with it now is like we want to find a bigger space so we can have more artists in there. That's probably like the hardest part is like finding something that's affordable for us and works for us. The hunt in the beginning, I don't know if you've how bad it was out here. I've heard you talk about wanting to get a bigger space, but like hunting for something that works for you and then also makes sense on paper as far as numbers go. Like it wasn't easy because originally we was going to do in Raleigh, but we ended up in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there a style, or talk about the kind of artist that you do get in? Because I'm sure you're smart. Uh, Is there like a process of determining, is this artist good for my business? Is this artist not good for my business? Is there some kind of
I working with people in the past, I've felt um, there's a lot of like critical ego kind of things around it where like they're really judging people off of something. I try to look at other people as potential because I know where I was and where I'm at now. So I try to see that in others, like, and I want to know like how do I bring that out of them? How am I going to help them do that? And that's like the environment thing is really important for me because I realize like all the studios I went to, what worked, didn't work, what I liked, didn't like, helped me grow so much. So when somebody comes in, I really like to have them come in and do like a guest spot. So they'll come in, they'll uh, work with us for a week or so. We'll keep in contact. They may do it a few times. Or just off an initial like when they come in, like I try to ask them questions that are really good questions that's going to expose to me their mindset. I think I focus more on mindset is what it is. So I'm trying to fish and feel out their mindset to know if they'd be a good fit. It doesn't matter so much like their art style, but it's like who are you? What do you want? And is that going to work for us?
right?
Because the last thing I want to do, I want to be very critical in that aspect because I don't want them to change their life to work with us and then it doesn't work or it hinders our
Right.
environment or something along those lines. So
Talk a little bit about the mindset in today in the workplace, in business, in fitness, or whatever. What do you think about? I don't want to generalize too much, but do you think that the mindset is generally in a bad spot of, potential employees, people in the gym? Do you think it's a rare thing to find somebody that wants to work hard, that wants to improve, that wants to take all the onus on themselves? Do you think that's a rare thing, or do you think that's something you can find pretty openly?
I think where it's at now, it's a very small percentage that are maybe coming to that on their own or doing that on their own. But I also know that it's the culture, and if we can, cultivate that culture, that more and more people was like it was a skill. You can acquire it and you
Right.
can build upon it. It's not like it's in some people and it's not. I think it's more as if uh, are they willing to learn that and then build upon it or not? Definitely with like artists though, like there is a ton of, I feel like, rock star ego artists, and that's anything, any industry or anything. Um, but I think you're naturally going to gravitate towards or attract those that are like you or like minded, and you're going to kind of sense right away if you click or not. No matter if they're different, they could be like different spectrum, a complete opposite of me or the people around me, is like personality or like the art they're into, their lifestyle, like any of that. But they're gonna have that likeness of like they care about growing, they care about doing a good job, they care about service, all the things that I really like to focus on with my business. So
Yeah, to me, I think that's one thing you can really kind of uh, you can really tell, within 2 weeks. Do they come in with a positive attitude?
mm-hmm.
Number one, uh, are they excited about being there? Are they uplifting everybody else? Are they serious about what they do? You know what I'm saying? I think you can cultivate it some too, but some things just come naturally. And I think people skills and learning how to be around others and understanding your energy affects everybody else.
Yeah,
Like that's something too. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I deal with when I'm training clients and stuff. That's one of the immediate things I'm looking at. Do they come in? Are they excited about being here?
yeah,
I'm not saying they have to be excited every day because I know everybody has a bad day
yeah,
every once in a while. But are you excited to get in here and like, do you look forward to
yeah.
this? And if you don't, it's like,
Maybe not even this, but when you're walking back out of here, do you look forward to that feeling?
right,
Yeah,
or period, or just do you understand that your energy affects everyone
yeah,
else? Like that's kind of the thing. So you did 75 hard,
yes.
Andy Frisella. That's how you say his name, right?
Andy Frisella.
Frisella. All
Yeah.
right. So take me through that process and explain it to people that may not know what it is.
75 Hard is a mental toughness program created by Andy Frisella. Um, it has great physical benefits, obviously, but the main thing is building mental toughness. And I got turned on to Andy with his older podcast, which is more business focused, and so I built trust with his content, what he was teaching, because I was able to apply it, and it worked well for my life and my business. So he had come out with a 75 hard program, and I had listened to him talk about it for 2 years. And I'd done like the 30-day challenges and stuff like that before, where I'd make some progress, but it would, you know, disappear shortly after. I go right back. So it's 75 days straight of a gallon of water a day, a progress photo, stick to a diet. Doesn't matter what diet, as long as you're sticking to a diet. You can't have any like added sugar, processed bullshit.
You can have Milky Ways or
No,
M&Ms.
no.
Oh, okay.
You could have a protein shake that tastes like that, but
Yeah.
um, and then it's no cheat meals or alcohol, and you have to read 10 pages of a self betterment book or something that makes you better. It could be your job or, like motivation or something along those lines. I think I got that right. Progress photo. Oh, and a gallon of water a day. You
Yeah.
have to drink a gallon of water a day. So,
Take me through the process. You know.
um, I put it online right away. I thought about it for a while, and I kind of danced with like, oh, today I'll just try to out what it is. And that day, like by the end of the day, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna commit to it.
You're
And
right.
I pulled out my phone while I was on my evening walk, and I said, I'm doing this program. I'm gonna complete it.
Yeah.
And I was fired up at first about it,
For sure, those
And
first
then,
3 days are great.
yeah. And then about a week and a half in, I start hitting that soreness wall, and there was cycles and if you read the book, it almost like made me emotional reading the book because he
Okay.
broke down the cycles you go through. I'd already attempted it one time because I failed on day 63, but I'm sitting there later in the program, I'm reading the book, and man, if I read this book in the beginning, like I would have knew what to expect. But
Yeah.
like everything he was saying, I felt those emotions during the time. But um, you have to do it. Has to be challenging. So it is scalable. Like if you're very obese, you could walk twice a day because walking is tough for you.
Yeah.
But the purpose of the challenge is to push you every day. So when I started it, I was lifting in here in the morning, and I was out there running
Mm-hmm.
miles at night, like, and it got to where I was doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 miles almost every night, and then I would go out, I'd put the weight vest on, and I'd walk around the neighborhood for the kind of the lower days. Um, but yeah, then I failed, and I restarted the next day. I
How
did
did that feel when you failed immediately? How did that feel?
so. It was a progress photo. I missed it.
Because it's 63 days in.
Yeah, I woke up at 4 in the morning, like I normally do, or 3 something that morning, and I instantly was like, and I checked my phone, and I was like, I didn't take a picture. I didn't take a picture, and so I just started my day like normal, and I thought about it in my head. I was like, nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever know.
Right.
I'm in here doing my workout, and I was like, that's not part of the program. I got to be accountable. So after the workout that day, I was out there in the car and I put it online. I was like, I failed, guys. I have to restart. I restarted today. So, and
You
then
restarted the next day.
that
That
the
day.
day I realized it, I restarted and went through
Man,
and completed it.
75 more days.
Yeah. So about 5 days in, I was hurt. I was like, God, because I was so close. It'd be one more week, I'd be finished with this.
Start all
So
over.
yeah. Through the program though, and I've talked to other tattooers that pointed it out. A lot of people encouraged me. They were very positive about it, and some even said it inspired them to attempt it and to do it. But well, one of the tattooers that I'm friends with, he messaged me and he was like, "Dude, I see how your work has improved by doing this program." And this is a mental and physical program,
Mm-hmm.
but the the attention to detail and making sure that I'm checking everything off transferred into my work, and I feel like my work became greater. Granted, after I don't know 100 days in, those 8-hour sessions were long sessions,
Right.
but it kind of pared me back a little bit. But my work improved over time from that.
Yeah,
So
maybe it taught you some of the maybe small details that you were missing in your work,
yeah, or
or
just it taught me to like be even more thorough
yeah.
about things because it's like Andy talks about it, and I really related to that when he talked about it on his podcast. Is like I walked by that piece of trash in the gym or something, and like I saw it, I need to pick it up, and like it's just that little detail being thorough. It's on me. I'm responsible. The outcome of this is on me. So that transferred to tattooing as well. I feel like.
That's such a beneficial thing. Taking ultimate responsibility for everything around you and how much better you can just make everything.
Yeah, and then too, like you don't always see it, but you hope it's happening. Is like, but people do see it, and then
Oh, they
they
do.
take note of it, and it may start to, like, well, damn, Ray did that. Maybe I should do that too. So
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the gym. Period is just seeing people start to take it seriously, or like let's say we got a power lifter or somebody doing 75 hard, or a bodybuilder, or somebody about to run a marathon, whatever it is. Like those people would generally have 3 or 4 people around them that are feeding off of them
yeah,
because of the inspiration, and they're just kind of like it's like you don't even realize what you're doing, but you're inspiring people just by doing the best for yourself,
yeah,
and that's such that's my favorite thing about the gym or fitness period. So yeah, so you're into jujitsu a little bit,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Where are you doing that? You're doing it in Durham?
No, I'm doing it at Chapel Hill Gracie,
Okay,
so
how's
it's
that?
not far. Oh man, I love it,
Really?
dude. Yeah, yeah.
Sell me on it, man. My
Man,
wife is into it. She's like, we want to do it one time. Sell
yes.
me, bro.
So, I mean, the original aspect of why I approached the gym was like, I said I wanted to do discipline if I got my tattoo career off going very well. So, but I also want to be able to defend myself. Of course, if something pops off or happens, you want to be able to neutralize it really quickly. So that always appealed to me. And I had friends that talked about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu all the time. They'd done it in the past. So I was like, that's what I'll do for my discipline. And through the other gym in Durham, a couple people would also train there, and they recommended training there because they focus on self-defense there.
And
So
what gym is it you're going to? What
I
gym is it?
was. I'm no longer going there.
Okay,
I was going to O2, but
I
I
got you.
upgrade my membership at the Jiu-Jitsu gym. They got racks and stuff,
Oh,
so I
nice.
go in there and work out.
Okay.
But going in there, like low guy on the totem pole again. I'm so
How was
nervous.
that? Yeah.
So I live for it, like I really do. Like once I get in there and get past the initial nervousness, like knowing like I have something else to climb and get better at, like
Yeah.
that fires me up inside. But this specific gym has a beginner program,
Okay.
kind of like we was talking about earlier with the weight room,
Right.
if they have something like that. They did that to kind of like allow you to learn a little self defense and also teach you enough to where you don't hurt your training partners.
Okay.
So uh, I've been doing that for a while, and I just moved up into the next tier of classes, fundamental, and you're in there with any and everybody at that point. Um, but it's just so good. Like you put your phone off to the side, you go in there, and it's just you and your partner. You're present. You're working on what they're teaching you, and then at the end of class, you get to like beat the shit out of each other.
Okay.
Not seriously,
Yeah.
but like you're
But you get
you're
to go
like,
at it a little bit.
yeah, and it's nothing like, it's so demanding because if I don't do what I need to do, he's gonna choke me. You know what I mean? Like the submissions, whatever. Once I feel it hurt, I tap. But like when somebody gets me in a headlock, I'm just like, all right, I got about 5 seconds to either
Figure
do
this out.
something or I gotta let it go. So, and it's humbling because you go in some days you feel great and you're doing amazing. The next day you go in, everybody you're paired with is just kicking your ass. You know what I mean? Or if you want to, you'll go up to a higher belt guy and he'll just teach you that you know nothing at all. So, but I love it, dude. Like it's so fun. It's taxing. It's very taxing.
How long is it? How long are the workouts?
The workouts.
Or like how long is a
Oh,
class?
a class is it's a four. They teach about four main moves, and then they let you roll. Class could be anywhere from an hour to like an hour and a half.
Mm.
Then I'll go in, or sometimes I do it. I'll do the teaching class, and then I'll do a drill class, which is where you just get like reps in doing the moves over and over. So I'm sometimes in there, like Danielle says all the time. She says it feels like 4 hours, but I'm in there probably about 3 hours.
Oh, you're getting it in.
Yeah,
You're getting better.
and you can do morning, then night, and then you can go back in morning and night.
Is it an unlimited membership? Like once you
That's what I do.
unlimited
You could
for a
get
month?
like punch cards if you want to
Okay.
try it out, stuff like that. But I've learned that like 3 classes in a row, like a night, a morning, and then that evening, like my elbows hurt, my shoulder hurts. I don't feel like moving. So I've really been trying to like pare back my strength training to where I can
Try to figure out that right spot.
Yeah, and then also still keep up with cardio, flexibility, and stuff because that plays a part in it as well.
Dude, that's such an intimidating environment for me anyway, as far as going into like a martial arts class because they got the gis, they're kind of like, they have this structure to the class, and I have no idea what that even is because I, my dad put me in a karate class probably when I was 8 years old or something, and we did like 5 classes maybe, and that was it. I think he knew we didn't like it or wasn't comfortable, but just going in that environment, which is also the thing you live for because it's like you're alive. It's like, oh, I'm nervous, I'm anxious, I don't know what the heck is going on. There's a beginner class, which is great, so it teaches me how the class runs. Like with sports or something, it's pretty simple for me. I know what they do. They get out there, they warm up, and then the coach will talk and he'll go through drill. I'm pretty sure it's the same way with jiu-jitsu, but it's just such a weird because I don't know. I don't know. It's so foreign to me.
It takes a few things to get used to. Like one of the biggest things in the beginning is it's a very intimate sport. You're gonna be right next to the person, sweating on them, breathing on them. They're using their head to move your head out the way, like stuff like that. And then you have to accept that if they don't like it, they're gonna tap. So you actually have to be aggressive with them. Like being nice in there doesn't get you very far. You actually have to. I mean, you don't want to hurt anybody, but you have to get over that. And I feel like the beginner class taught me that. Is like after like 4 months, everybody I was rolling with, like we started to grasp those things together, and then like it really started to become fun. Like,
oh, I got you.
And we all do it. Sometimes at the end of a beginner class, they don't let us roll. Okay. So and when they say we're not rolling, like you see everybody like, man, God, I wanted to test that out on
I
you
want to
today.
choke his ass
Yeah. So,
out.
but it's just good, man. And another aspect, and just like in the gym, is like the tribe, the brotherhood of being in there. Like everybody is from different walks of life, but we're all on like a similar goal, similar mission in there, and that is like one of the greatest feelings. And everybody in there, just about everybody in there, wants to see you get better, to help you. They may not teach you how to stop the choke that they get you with every time,
Yeah, yeah.
but they're helping you get better in there.
Yeah.
So that part of it I really love. And I was like, aside from here, this is the first place I really felt that like friend brotherhood
Yeah.
group in the morning. That morning group in
Hmm.
here. um, I really feel it there, and it feels really good. It's like first time in my life I really felt that. So
Well, good.
yeah,
Heck yeah. The camaraderie of everybody
yeah,
aiming.
camaraderie. Yeah,
Yeah, everybody aiming for one common goal, and that's just to get better. And you're all doing it together at the same hour, the same day. So that is fun. That's sports. That's fitness. That's what brings me to sports anyway.
yeah,
So I guess jiu-jitsu is a sport, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So what else? Uh, you came in here during the COVID year, right? I'm gonna
yeah.
take it back a little bit.
Um, I think it was. I think it was towards the end of 2020. Yeah, it was. It was like November, October, November of 2020, I believe.
Yeah. You talk about how kind of COVID affected your business or any pivots that you made, I guess, with business or with fitness. We obviously met during COVID, so you obviously had to find a gym that was open.
Yeah.
Talk about that time, or
So business wise, I was on the end of when all the fear and stuff broke out of it. I was like, I don't want to shut down. I was like, it's my client's choice. If they want to risk coming in here, I'm 100% willing to risk it. And then, like, all the really fearful things came out. So, at the time, my business partners and I decided to make the call of close the doors, and shut it down. So, we were down for about 3 months. And at first, I was like, I was working nonstop. So at first, I was like, hell yeah, I'm getting a break
right,
finally.
right.
Uh, didn't do a whole lot of anything. Then I started to realize, like, all right, I need to start working on something else. So I took on like a few graphic design things and started drawing a little more, thinking of like towards the make art prints or something. I actually made masks at one point too
Oh,
as well,
yeah.
and with
Just
my
getting
artwork
creative.
on it. Yeah, it was like trying to think of everything that I could do just right now to bring in a little income and keep myself relevant online. Um, as far as like wanting to tattoo though, I felt like a lion in the cage. I was just so ready after like 2 months to get back to it. So what I ended up doing too is like I brought some friends in and like tattooed them under the table, stuff like that, just to like keep that going. And I felt like for a while I was like, man, am I gonna remember how to tattoo when we get back to
Yeah.
this? I feel though COVID helped tattooing
Okay.
everywhere, because even places where I know I've worked before where it could be like a week you don't work a lot, then you have a heavy week. Well, now those guys are like booked out 3 to 6 months. And I think what it is like slowed people down. They were still able to work from home, make money. They were able to think about the tattoos that they wanted. Um, they weren't traveling, spending money on any of that. So I think once we opened back up, like everybody saw a surge in tattooing to a point. So I think from that aspect, it did really well. And for me, it gave me time because I was working 6 days a week, 5, 6 days a week, drawing on my off time. There wasn't a lot of fitness involved in there
Yeah.
because I was just working so much. So it allowed me to actually restructure my schedule because I was like, I'm just going to have to shift everybody back 3 months. Let's go ahead and move me to 4 days a week and give me some time off and stuff like that too.
Talk about how you structure your schedule, because that's one of the things I struggle with, especially owning a business and being in fitness and all that. Because you basically want to work I mean, it's, your income is based on it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, at what point does Ray decide this is too much? I need to go to jiu-jitsu class tonight. I'm gonna cancel. Like, how do you do all that scheduling and?
So the beginning of this year, I'll have a little more control over that because I'm now booking people for that. But I'm still booked in from what I had booked almost a year ago at this point.
Okay.
So for me, it was a lot of rescheduling to make that kind of work. But structuring, I try to do three to four appointments a week.
Okay.
The reason I do three is that way if I have to reschedule or move somebody and put them in on fourth. If I feel like financially I need to make a little bit more money, the demand's there, I just move in a fifth person that week. As long as I know I can handle the drawing time and everything. Um, and the struggle lately with, I feel like the last like few weeks have been, man, should I move my client back, only work 5 hours a day? Or should I keep them where they're at, work 8 hours, and just go do cardio this evening instead of like getting in the gym or going to jiu-jitsu? So I'm still trying to find that and play with that. Um, because if I have a light week where like I've had some reschedules, I don't feel like filling them in. In I'm in the gym twice a day
Yeah.
and 2 3 days a week. So
Yeah. That's one of the things I think are, especially as owning a business or being open to the public, is your schedule. I don't think no matter what you do, I don't think it can ever be consistent. Do you think? Like,
no,
it's like I would like it to be such a because I'm routine based, and
yeah.
I think most people operate better on a routine. But it's like,
My wife does a really good job with it with her schedule.
yeah,
She's hard pressed. These are the days I work. These are the days I'm off. I don't bend that unless I absolutely have to.
mine is too.
Yeah, but for me, it's like I don't know. I get a hair in me, and I'm like, oh man, I want to fill up my schedule, and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to do anything, so I'm gonna just let this schedule go this week.
Uh,
If we're talking about it like a business perspective, is like how do you manage your schedule, work a little less? Is I started to focus on like the demand, and I was like, well, I'm booked out at this point. I was booked out a year and a half. I'm at this price point, and I was like, I want to work a little less. So, but I don't want to take the dip in income.
okay,
You want to
yeah,
keep up with inflation, increase over the time, and so I ended up I started a new tier of booking and I increased the prices. And so those people coming in, and what I assumed would happen is when I increased those prices is that some of the demand would fall back, and it didn't, so I did it again. And what I learned is I feel like you move from this market to this market to this market. I'm okay now. I'm a little nervous with where things are going to try to push that any further. And I also think like it's still reasonable where I'm at. So I don't want to like push it too far to where I end up damaging my schedule, my bookings and stuff like that. So I think it's if you want to find more balance, you have to find a way to navigate into the markets that's going to provide you with that freedom.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one of the things I'm terrible at. It's because uh, let's say I'm busy as heck today, and tomorrow um, I'm busy again, but I want to take a day off. But it's like, it's that pushing through thing. It's that 75 hard thing. It's like, oh, okay, you can do it another day. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But at the end of the week, I'm like, bro, I don't
it's
want to do
it's
nothing.
it's a slippery slope too,
God, I
because
know.
if you start thinking like I'm finding this cycle is if I start thinking, oh, you know what, I want a little time off, and then next thing I know, I feel like I have too much time off,
Hmm.
and my finances are slipping. So it's like, oh, well, I need to ramp it back up, and I'm just an all or nothing person. So
I think I'm the same
just
way.
accepting it.
It, That's a good
Yeah,
point. Just accept it, right?
yeah,
Because there's nothing really I'd rather like. I enjoy making the money, and I enjoy helping people with what I do and stuff. And you know, I would like to pick up a recreational activity though. I need to get back into that. I'd really like to get into some Ironman stuff, but I'm not going to commit to it just yet. But that's my
yeah.
next goal or whatever. But because that's going to take a lot of time, I'm going to have to find a gym that's going to pool. I'm gonna have to get a bike. I'm gonna have to ride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just understanding the time commitment that takes because it's
Well, you just got to put that priority on it too. That like, if I don't do this, then this is gonna hurt me.
yeah,
And like I say that sometimes too. You gotta like trick yourself into saying like, I need this to live or I need this to survive. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, sell me real quick on a Ray Durham tattoo.
Oh,
If there is, I mean, people that want, I get it. The people that want it are going to come find you. But
yeah.
if there is any selling to it, what kind of experience do you provide, and what is your, uh, I guess your category, your niche? What is it kind of you like doing, or?
So I've always liked realism,
Mhm.
so I naturally gravitated towards doing more realism. I like the significance of it that I felt like not, at least coming where I came from, not a lot of people did realism very well. So I wanted to have that significance of being someone that does it very well.
Just describe realism real quick for me. I'm
Um,
not in the
and
art or whatever.
what's on your arm looks like the photo.
Okay,
Like you pull up a bear in the woods roaring,
I got
that's
you.
what you get on your arm. It looks like it to a T, the depth, the contrast, everything. Um so I focus more on realism because I like it, and I've moved towards like I like doing portrait work because now that gives me another level of significance because not a lot of people can do faces. So I try to like dial that in to being the best I can at that. And I'm versed in other styles, but I feel like over the years I've learned what I like and don't like.
Yes.
And so I've stopped trying to be the guy that does everything very good, and I focus on what I like to focus on because if I like it, I enjoy it, it's gonna come out better anyway. So, and it's less stressful on me. But my niche is realism, and I like doing large scale work like sleeves. I like to figure out how to tie it in, blend it with the body, make it flow real nice. Also, I like one shot tattoos. That's why I kind of like my wife and then our coworkers. They do like fine line minimal, real dainty stuff.
Hmm.
And I've started to try to pick up on a little bit of that too because I like the idea of like a one shot. We get it done in a day where most of my work is multi session. I'm seeing you for a year or more on a regular
Mm,
basis. So,
I got you.
yeah.
Get into was it recently you just got married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, we
Congratulations about that.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
it's been good.
Yeah.
Um,
Y'all have been together for a while though, I feel like, right?
yeah, November 2019 was like our first real date,
Okay.
and then yeah, we had set the marriage for October 2023, but then my family said that we're going to do a trip to Tennessee. Would we like to come? And I was like, you want to just get married out there while we're out there? And she was on board with it too. So we had a good time. It's kind of a shit show, but we both
As it
wanted
should
it that
be.
way.
As it
Yeah,
should be.
highly unorganized, barely pulling it together.
Yeah.
It was only 7 family members there with us, so it was
Yeah.
like small, intimate, but we had such a great time out there. So
Yeah, weddings are tough, man. It's
yeah,
just like the organizing. It's like
we yeah, and she don't want that kind of stress. And
no.
then we looked into like just the finances of it, and we're working on like finding a house right now. So
In this market, which is crazy.
yeah, well, I
As
really
a
do think this beginning of the year, like I'm hoping, you can't time it perfect, but I'm hoping we hit the dip right then. So, but we're working on that, and we definitely were like, oh, well, you could have a wedding, or you could have a house and property, and
right.
property is a no-brainer. So,
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Anything upcoming for you? Anything you got on the horizon? Any goals and aspirations you're shooting for as we, bring this to an end?
Yeah, February is a jiu-jitsu tournament, and I
Okay.
went and witnessed my first one
Where is it?
last month. I think it's gonna be. I think it was out in Cary, but it's classified as Raleigh. It's a Fuji tournament, so I want to get in there as a white belt and try my best at it. And it looked like a lot of fun. I had some friends do it, so I'll start training on that. I'm trying to figure out if I want to try to cut to a lower weight class or
What
not.
other weight classes? Or
Um,
is it like I don't know, is it like powerlifting or is it
I
I
I'm not 100% sure. All
yeah.
I know is that if you're 220 or 225 and up, you're with everybody that's
Okay.
in that. So you're
Yeah.
going against. There's
The
no like
monsters.
super heavyweight at that point. Everybody's together. So, um, and I get mistaken for being around 220 a lot. So I think if I'm able to get down to that, I'll do pretty well. But I don't know. It's in February, so I did the math and I was like, you got to cut pretty hard to get
Yeah.
down to that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you said you're working out in the gym with the jujitsu, and they got racks and stuff. I'm sure your cardio is enough with the jujitsu. So, I mean, you're able to hit some decent weights in there. I'm sure they got kettlebells probably
Yeah, they
too,
got
right?
they got like a whole rack of kettlebells, free weights. They got a couple racks, and then they have a sled area, and then like the cables that you have,
Mm-hmm.
the two over here, they
Mm-hmm.
have that set up in there as
Oh,
well.
nice.
And then they have a bunch of bags, and they do like cardio kickboxing classes. So I've been getting in on some of
How
that.
big is the gym?
Um,
Is it like
uh, I would say not far off from this, maybe like another quarter of this, and then you got larger like locker or what am I trying to say?
the locker room area,
Yeah,
like the
locker room.
changing
Yeah,
bathroom
yeah,
or whatever that is?
yeah. And they had told me that they were thinking of expanding before the pandemic, and they talked about like the sauna, red therapy, or cold therapy.
Right.
And I was like, oh god, we got to get more members. That's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Are you still into doing that? I know you asked me about the sauna and stuff, and
I'm not at that other gym anymore,
yeah.
so I don't get to
Oh,
do that so much. So that's why I was like, I really want to
I
get in
got
there
you.
and do that because I was doing it daily at
Ah,
one point there, and then hop out of that, get in the cold shower. So
yeah.
yeah,
Good for you. Anything else you want to cover, man? Anything else you want to talk about?
no, we covered it pretty good.
Yeah.
I like. I've been listening to you. I really
Yeah.
like the direction of it, man.
I'm trying to get better. There's some things, when you listen to it from your perspective or whatever, there's some things you want to work on as far as interviewing and talking. Like sometimes I'll say yeah every time you talk.
Yeah,
I didn't do it this time. I was paying attention
yeah,
to it very well, but I do it because I want you to know I'm listening,
yeah,
but it's not good for the audience. And last time I had this thing up too high and the mic was, I would laugh and it would be like super loud. I'm like, damn it. But just like anything else, I'm a white belt at podcasting right
yeah.
now. So hopefully one day I'll get some stripes and I'll move on to the next
Yeah,
color. And
I think though from like being a podcast fan and listening to them over the years, like you're hitting the ground running.
thanks,
You're
man.
doing well
I
with it.
appreciate it. And good luck to you. I hope to see you more often. Maybe I'll come out to that jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
tournament and hang out.
Oh, too. Well, even the gym, if you can make a time to come out there, you get. I think I know one free class, but maybe two free
Yeah,
classes
and
to
that's
try
in
it out.
Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one in Durham out here that I really like, or I looked at because me and my wife have been talking about it a little bit. I'm going back to the scheduling thing. I got to figure out how to
Yeah.
maneuver my schedule so I can have some free time for us. And but anyways, there's one in Durham. I know Chapel Hill is a little bit. It's about the same, but Durham has a wrestling class too. I want to really like learn that. I don't know why, but
It
something about
applies to jujitsu very well too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So and they have like a beginner class too. So I've been looking, but I'll look up that spot you were talking about too. And yeah, like I said, it's good to see you
Yeah.
again. It's been a while, and best of success in the future. I know you're a hardworking man, and you take pride in everything you do. So you're going to be just fine.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Hmm.